What's up, everybody? Welcome to Daily Refinement. On Wednesdays, we do the mastermind call live on YouTube, but the other days, Monday through Friday, we do it privately in the Patreon. So today, I want to introduce a new challenge for everybody. It's the 10 listing challenge. Okay, so the rules are your items are already prepped and ready to go. So you have 10 items ready. You're going to photograph the item, list the item, and put the item away, and that will be your number. I will judge you heavily based on your 10 listing number. So that's all you are to me, just the number. Just kidding. But yeah, that number is really important. And I'm personally going to do this challenge for every category just for fun. I'm going to stay in my category, but I would like to figure out the best 10 listing format for every category because there's lots of different sellers in different categories. So after my first one that I'm going to try is clothing, since my category. And as you guys have been noticing, I've been posting short videos on my process. And the videos for your process should be no longer than 1 minute. So if you guys are making processes for yourself, the photos, the listing, the prep, all that should be just a quick 1 minute video at the longest of what you're doing. And so I want you guys to all do that same thing with all the processes, and the goal is 10. So I'm going to be doing it live with you guys as part of the Patreon as well. So when my new workshop is set up, I'm going to turn the video on and do this 10 listing challenge with you guys. That's why I built the Lazy Susan photo setup. So now I can take pictures of anything that's 30 inches or smaller on that same apparatus. So maybe let me know in the chat what category you're in. Let's start there. And let's figure out how long you think it will take you. And then, maybe we'll give some awards to who can do it the fastest in their category. Currently, as you guys know, I'm doing this Patreon group with Tech and Sports, and he could probably do it in 2 minutes total. Take the photos, this is sort of a testament to how solid his process is. He could take the pictures, which would be a minute, plug the memory card into his computer, which would be a minute. He would sell similar off of his own listings and then put it away. So probably 2 minutes for one. So he might be the record at 20 minutes for 20 listings. 20 minutes for 10 listings. That might be the fastest I've ever seen. Unique listings. So I think everyone can do 10. And I want to know what category people are in and what they want to do and how fast they think they can do it. I think currently right now, my clothing process, I could do 30 minutes for 10 listings. And I think shoes would be slightly faster just because there's no measurements. And shoe photos are faster to me, especially now with the Lazy Susan. Yesterday, on my first attempt, I was able to get it down to 30 seconds per set of photos. So very excited about that. And I'm deciding on how I want to store my shoes exactly, but I think I know, just exactly the same as my clothing. So that's going to be the setup. So let's go with Brian first. Brian, do you do sets when you list? Do you do a certain number all in a row? Do you have a daily goal? How do you approach it?
Well, good morning. Yeah, I guess I do sets. Like I think currently it's 40. Like I photograph 40, then I list 40. But like I'm doing a little bit of shoes and other things. I'll do those at the beginning and don't kind of like consider that an add-on. Like today I've got a couple shoes to do and a couple hats, and then I'll do 40 clothes. Photographs, upload it USB to the computer, and then list, moving left from right, stack on the left, bag it. And I started using these, kind of switched kind of like to your just straight number versus doing the bin number, which is faster. And then I bag it. And I also got the big tape dispenser that y'all were talking about this week. So I think that might help with the shipping as well.
Sorry, yeah. Do you have a specific time that you approach the 40?
as yeah, as soon as shipping, which it kind of depends on how many orders I have. It could be anywhere from right after this call to 1 p.m. and then I list.
All right. Let's go, Jared. Jared, how do you approach your day? Do you do batches of a certain number?
Yeah, I batch them. Since I list 30 a day, I pull my 30 out, photograph all of them, and then start listing all of them.
Okay.
So since I'm just part time and have to go to work, then
Do you also put them away?
actually no, I put them away in the evening.
Okay.
I just create a box for them and then take them back into the inventory area, and then after I ship in the evening time, I go ahead and put them up.
Yeah, I think that's probably a more efficient use of time is when you put things away, also pick because you're already in that area. So that might be a good process for people. Do you pull your listings for your sales for the next day the night before? Jen's asking.
No, I pull them in the morning, but I already have a huge. I just basically have a huge tote that's got all of them sitting there ready to go. So because I batch clean, since I do media, I batch clean them too. Since I have a big machine that does 100 at a time,
Mm-hmm.
I'll pick like a Saturday or a Sunday and go load the machine up and get everything ready for the week or for the week. So
Sounds
but
good.
it's not really work since the machine does it for me. So
I like that. I mean, for clothing, you can use a washing machine and a dryer. And if you use a dryer, it will take out most of the wrinkles. So depending on your process, you can adjust it. Jen, good morning. 10 listing challenge. You ready? You're still muted. No. All right. We'll come back to you, Jen. Eric, good morning.
Good morning. So I'm kind of switching up my process. So what I'm doing is, what I was doing is 40 photos and 40 listings per day, Monday through Thursday, getting 160 a week. But I think what's going to make me more efficient is, since I don't pack my items in a poly bag until I list them, a lot of people do it after the photos. But I keep it with me just to catch any like last minute flaws. But what I'm going to do to be more efficient now is take 80 sets of photos one day, and then the next day do 80. And that way there's not like a 20-minute buffer between tasks.
I see. That's not a bad idea. I, how long does 80 photos take?
I'm at like 2 minutes and 5 seconds per photo right now. So like
Got it.
2 hours, 40 minutes.
That's great. Awesome. So Isaiah is asking what the difference would be between putting a rubber band around shoes versus putting them in a bag. For me, I think it makes shipping a little faster when it's already in the bag, because I can put the bag in a piece of bubble wrap, put that in the Tyvek envelope, and call it a day. And they also shoes rub against each other and become scuffed in my experience doing shoes. So I would rather they be protected by a thin layer of plastic. And also, shoes are really dirty. So for me personally, since I switched to plastic bagging, my storage area has been pristine. There's been nothing, no dirt. There's been dust, but no, that's from me opening and closing the garage door, um, not from the actual item. So I just want it to be cleaner. But putting a rubber band around the shoe would take 1 to 2 seconds, and putting it into a bag would take 10 seconds. So that would be the time difference between the two. I'm also experimenting right now. I'm using Ziploc bags, and I also realized the reason why they don't have the suffocation warning on them is because they're 2 millimeters, and usually those don't require the suffocation warning. Now, I'm not a lawyer. You probably could still get sued, but it's the 1 and 1.5 millimeter bags that absolutely require the suffocation warning, because it can form like a suction over a baby's mouth. The thicker ones don't stick as much. So just something to consider. Make sure that you're in compliance, because you could get sued as a reseller if your bags aren't proper. Let's go with Manuel. Manuel, can you chat? Can't hear you. Let's see. We'll come back to you, Manuel. Let's go with Kevin. Kevin, good morning. Can you chat? Yeah.
Okay.
What's
How's
up,
that?
Kevin? How's it going? Where you? Welcome to the call.
Thanks. Uh,
So,
right.
go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead. Right now, my listing process is still pretty slow.
Mhm.
It's taken me about half an hour to photograph 10 items, and then I list in about maybe 45 minutes for those 10 items.
Okay.
I am starting to use templates and listing. I've got enough in my account to where I can start listing off of my own, sell similar.
That's great.
So it is getting faster.
Awesome. Also, I want to put out there that I think that an hour for 10 listings is good enough. You don't need to do it faster than an hour because most people don't have a listing goal of over 30 a day. You might have a listing, but if at 30 a day, that's 3 hours of the actual processing part. The rest you can use for other projects. Great.
Got it.
So Kevin, what could you do? What's the bottleneck you think in your process?
Research. I don't trust myself to get to price things accurately. I'm number one, looking up a lot of comps, too much, I think. And then I'm using that website that you plug in the cost per item and then what you're selling it for.
Mhm.
It takes out all the eBay fees and tells you how much. So I'm, trying to get every nickel out of it.
Which one do you use? I use Sale Calc.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's on my bookmark at home.
Gotcha.
But I think that's at Sales Calc. I got it off of you guys. So
Okay.
whichever one you guys use.
Awesome. That's great. Cool. Let's go with Nick. Nick, good morning. You ready for the 10 listing challenge? Hopefully you can chat.
Second.
Yep.
Sorry, I was a little late to the call. So what's the 10 listing challenge?
The 10 listing challenge is you have 10 items prepped and ready to start photographing. So you have 10 items ready, and then how long does it take you to photograph, list, and put the items away?
I just re-niched down to clothing.
Mhm.
Yesterday I was able to do 30 photographed and drafted.
Mhm.
And that took the most of the day. So I think if I'm ripping it, 20 photos in an hour.
Okay.
And I think it's about maybe 10 listings in an hour.
Okay.
So I could do 30 probably in like 4 to 5 hours if everything's set up. So if I have all my clothing prepped and everything like that. So right now I'm dropping 12 a day is my thing. I'm trying to build up my bank, and because I see like I could get like 50 to 60 units at a sourcing trip at the bins in the niche that I'm working in.
Mhm.
So I'd have to go to the bins every maybe 2-3 times a week to keep the inventory coming in. But that's a lot of progress from what I was doing when I was doing like this and that odds and ends. I would do like 15 listings a day and I'd be killed. So I was able to pretty easily do the third. It took me most of the day, but so
Awesome.
that's it. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So I have a question for the people who are using counters. I personally don't use a counter, and I just switched to, my photographer wants to do 105 listings per day. So when she gets to work, there are 105 items ready. I don't have a counter for her. So just the night before, I set up 105 items ready for her the next day. She arrives and she can see how far she is into the day by how big the pile is. And she just judges by that. It gives her like a sense of completion too, because she's like, okay, done. And then as soon as she's done, plugs in the memory card, which I need to go over the process because some people were having problems with transferring the iPhone photos to the memory card, like one of these dongle things. So she plugs it in and does it. So listing 105 items takes her about 3.5 hours. And the photographing takes about 3.5 hours for 105. So about 7 hours total for 105 listings for her. And she has a couple of cups of coffee. She has lunch. She sometimes watches TV for like half an hour if she needs a break, but all gets done in about 8 hours. She was considering doing what Eric was talking about and doing 210 sets of photos and then listing the next day. But I don't like that because it's possible that some stuff would get mixed up because it's not done in the same day. And then also, that's exhausting doing 210 of the same thing over and over and over again. I think it's better to break it up into 2 half days. So
Wouldn't the biggest problem be that if she doesn't show up the next day, now you have 210 items that are photographed, but not even almost about to get listed?
that's right. Yep. Yeah. So I want it to be all on the same day. So whatever it takes to keep that same process. And I told her, like, because she's in school right now, so she has full-time school and she does 105 listings for me. So I scheduled her whole life, including boyfriend, everything, because I'm like, because her primary responsibility is the job because she's paying her own school. So for her, she needs to make money above all else. So I'm like, okay, if that's your first priority, second priority is school, and third priority is boyfriend, then let's set up the day so it's according to that. So if she wants to do extra credit, she could. A few times she's taken some extra photos. So she's taken like, for example, instead of 105, she's done 130 before. She can take the 15 home and do extra. I'm sorry, the extra 15 home she can do because she has the same laptop as me. So she could go home and do some extra credit, make a little more money right now if she wants to do that. But my point is it has to get done the same day. I don't want it to be split up because I don't want any queues. And right now I'm considering, do I want to, because I want a second photographer because 105 is not my goal. So do I have the photography stations right next to each other, or do I have a completely separate unit? So do I want to encourage them to be friends? She was like, not really. Maybe if you want us to have lunch together, you can buy us lunch, but I don't care about being friends with the coworker. So that's interesting. So that's something, and I'm wondering, is it distracting having them right next to each other versus having to be in a different room? From my experience, if I take photos right next to her, she works a lot faster. So, versus just being by yourself all day. And it's not like you can talk anyway, because photographing and listing is very intense work. So yeah, that competition is nice too, and keeps you on track. You don't want to be the person slacking. So that's something that I don't know. Photo units right next to each other. And by right next to each other, I mean like 10 feet next to each other, or completely separate storage units. And Philip says maybe it's because I'm the boss. That could be. It could be because I'm the boss that she works harder. So that's a consideration. Catherine counts out the bags. Ooh, I like that. That's a great process too. You can see how many are left. Then you don't have to worry about the pile of clothing, which is, it's easier to move bags than it is to move clothing. I also was thinking about right now the sticker is on the item inside the bag on the inside of the clothing, so I don't damage the outside. But if I put the sticker on the outside of the bag, then she would be able to skip a step and not have to put the sticker on the item for the last photograph. So that would be a thing. So Brian says, Michael Gerber in the email talks about making your business into a game. Yeah, I think it would be good if I had them next to each other, not so that they could talk, but so they can see each other. Maybe I could give a bonus for whoever finishes first. That might be something to consider. Let's see here. So Jordan is talking about how am I fixing my older store. So I'm one by one going through the listings and editing them. And it's not the title. My titles are okay. It's the item specifics. Sometimes I have the wrong category. And actually, to be completely honest, the main problem with my big store is the pricing. Pricing is too high. That's the main problem. So you need to go in and make sure if your items have a defect or they're not a desirable color or they're the wrong size or they're not in demand or they're not in season, that affects the pricing. So in order to be an expert, all of your stuff needs to be priced exactly. That's why in the new store, my sell-through rate is 2% because I'm doing what Kevin was talking about earlier and I'm researching the price. So every single listing is on the money with pricing. So that's why the sell-through rate is 4 times higher than my big store. Because the big store, I use price buckets with best offer. So I was like, you know what? If I accidentally price too high, I have best offer. But what I'm finding out is that people are not even making an offer. It's priced too high. So they just move on to the next one or they don't even see it. So I have a 30% differential between what I'm willing to sell it at and what I'm willing to list it at. Unless the item has a defect, then I might even go 50% off of what I'm asking because I shouldn't have purchased that in the first place. So I'm paying for my own mistake. RT is asking what sells best in the wintertime. It depends on what category you're in. What sells best in Q4 always every year is new tags is the number one category. New stuff, gifts. That's the best stuff to sell Q4. Mark says that his listers are always in the same room. He bought lunch on Friday if they hit their goals. I tried the company happy hour and it was only cool for me. They didn't really care. So I don't think it built company morale. It was good for the picture on Instagram, but I don't know if they care. Also, I'm going to go on a tiny bit of a rant here. I think networking is 99% a waste of time. If you actually just sat down, learned how to list, really dove into what category you're looking in, and really research the pricing, like what Kevin was talking about earlier, if you just did that, that's 99% of eBay. Networking is just distraction in this business. I'm not saying in general networking is a waste of time, but if you spend all your time focusing on what you should be doing when you're listing, you will make 100 grand within 1 or 2 years of reselling. If you take a trip to go visit, because I did that in the beginning, the first thing I did was I flew down to Las Vegas to meet Jason T. Smith because he was apparently the king of thrifting. So I flew down there. I didn't learn anything about eBay. That was like a complete waste of time. eBay already tells you what it wants from you: title, photos. It's crazy. Reselling is very straightforward. It's mechanical. It's not relational. So Mavnetics is saying his or her sell-through rate is 2.3% daily in used clothing. So for those of you listening, what that means is if he has 100 items for sale, he will sell 2 to 3 items per day, which is very fast for used clothing. It would be difficult, in my opinion, to get a bump in impressions and views without listing more items, because that's generally what you do unless you lower your price. So, okay, guys, let me explain how this works. There's a lot of people don't understand how impressions work. If you lower your prices, you will get more impressions because your items will rank higher in the low to high price ranking, which is what people do. So people look for cheapest to most expensive. And if you're cheaper, you'll rank higher. If you use better keywords or words that match better, your items will show up higher and you'll get higher impressions. Now, let's see. I forgot who was talking about this yesterday, but the views and impressions are related to essentially your title, your price, and your pictures. That's it. Title, price, pictures, item specifics, actually. Those 4 things give you the impression. The view is how good of a deal is it, right? So they actually click into it. And then more importantly, after that is the conversion part. So, like for example, on Poshmark, a lot of people brag about how many likes they have. That doesn't mean anything, right? Because I don't want any likes. I want one sale. I want one person to look at the item, no hearts, just the money, right? They like it, good deal, purchase. So what
Yeah,
you want, go
you
ahead.
got to remember that the likes are mandatory for new members who are trying to become ambassadors. So you're going to get all these likes because they had to do it in order to become an ambassador.
Right. But my point is just the impressions and views are not as important as the conversion. So you need to think about both, because eBay will penalize you for impressions and views that don't convert. Remember that. So I wouldn't necessarily want more impressions and views. I want to maintain that sell-through rate as you grow. So that's why I recommend everybody have 100 items in your store. Make sure your sell-through rate is good before you grow. Don't do what I did and build a giant. Actually, I'm okay with the sell-through rate of 0.5% in my big store, but it can be much better. I recommend you start with 1%. So Shoe Thrift is asking about when creating a title, do I use J.Crew or J.Crew? I personally do J.Crew, and in the item specifics, I'm sorry, I do J.Crew in the title and J.Crew in the item specifics, so I can get both. That's how I do it. So it depends on how you want to do business, but I just want to get both keyword searches. Justin is talking about, says that he's learned more in this group than any other. I agree. I've learned a lot. But what I've learned the most from in these groups is people talking about what they do. It's not from being friends, or because none of us have met each other, right? Of course, I might go visit Jeff and we'll kick back a couple of beers in Arizona, but that's not related to reselling. That doesn't make my reselling better. That just makes me feel better as a human. It's separate. It's totally separate. Two different things. But let's go to Christine. Christine, let's talk about your 10 listing challenge. I want you to try it this week.
Okay. I just changed my photo setup to a flat lay over here. And I have not timed myself, so I don't have any times to give you. But I'm thinking that I would probably, I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take me. It is taking me longer doing the flat lay right now because I'm still not used to it. Physically, I am getting better though at it. I'm down for the challenge, but I can't give you any numbers. Sorry.
No worries. I just want you to try it so we can start getting some numbers to base it on.
Yeah. I just changed to flat lay, I think last week. So.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if it's better. Let's see. Let's go with Bo. Bo, good morning. I don't see you on the morning calls too often.
Yeah, good morning. Just still going with the plan, like I talked about, just trying to stay consistent with doing 20 a day, banking 10 and listing 10. Hit the Goodwill bins in my area and it was really good. I'm almost able to get like 2 weeks worth of product per trip. It's about 2 hours from my home, but scored some good stuff. So I'm happy to have a source through the winter here in Oregon.
Can I share with the group how awesome you are?
Oh, no. Yeah. I mean, well, you guys set it up though. You guys made me awesome.
This is why, guys. Bo has 4 kids and he does 20 giraffes in the morning before they wake up and launches 10. So he's always ahead of the curve and he's done by 7 in the morning. Okay, so no one has any excuses.
Yeah, it's very difficult. It took, even before doing reselling, I was always like, wake up early before the kids, do your meditation, do your morning, work on yourself so you could be the best version of yourself. So people around you can enjoy the best version of you. So I was like, I need to get up early. I need to work on myself. So getting into reselling, I was just applying the same thing. It's really hard to work during the day and have 4 kids needing your attention. So we're also doing homeschooling too. So you got to get your stuff done, or else it's going to run your life. So, but that's what I love about what you guys teach is like systems. If you don't have them, you ain't going nowhere. So this was the system I had to stay true to. And yeah, I got 40 in the draft bank and still working on it. So
Love it.
but yeah, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I'm still watching, even though I don't, join in all the time.
You're a busy man.
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
lo-
You too, though. So
I love it. Yeah, that's a really great strategy. Because now, I mean, this is my first kid, but trying to do stuff while she's awake is, I don't know if it's possible. I feel like when you are trying to do it at the same time, you're actually switching from work to baby to work, or kid. You're not doing both at the same time. I don't know how you could possibly do that, since listing and photography is so intense. How can you can't really multitask.
yeah.
I haven't been able to do that.
Yeah.
So Heather is saying she homeschools 3 kids, one with a learning disorder. And I think you have to sort of do it before they wake up or when they go to sleep. It's hard to do it during the day. Let's see. Let's go with Topher. Topher, good morning. What are you working on?
Right now, I'm switching inventory systems over to specific SKUs. To Chris, I was missing a bunch of, or just spending way too much time looking through bins and mislabeling bins and all that. So I should finish that up today and have everything in bags. I'm just trying to grow the store. Right now I'm getting like 15 sales a day. I'm listing 10 a day or 20 a day.
Nice.
Get up there, but yeah, that feels good, of course, to have a quick sell through.
Yeah. I want one more challenge for everybody. So Topher, right now you're listing 20 and having 15 sales. What's the most you've listed in a day?
33.
33?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that listing is kind of like how long you can hold your breath. So I think everyone should focus on a maximum capacity, like of a really high number, because if Topher could list 80 in a day, that was like his capacity, then 20 a day would be easy. So I want everyone to start thinking about, even if you don't do more, how could you do more? That makes your life a lot easier when it's on easy mode. If 20 is your maximum and you try to do 20, you have a really high failure rate, because that's your maximum effort. Everything has to go right to do that. So I think just kind of like increasing your lung capacity. Everyone think about how you can do way more work in the same amount of time, because we all have limited time. Boog is saying in the chat, it's all about process. They homeschool and schedule everything out. You try the best you can, of course, and also saying that each kid has their own schedule and expectations. That's amazing how people do that.
Chris,
go ahead.
I've got a quick technical question here. I noticed the other day that under my active listings on the website and on the app, it has two numbers. Like it says, okay, results like 1 through 50 of, say, 1,361. But then over to the right of it, it has the value and then like the quantity. So my quantity is like 827. So so really the amount that I have active, is that the 827 number, the lower number over to the right? Why is it doing that? Is it something that I've done in my settings or what?
It's the lower number. The higher number includes multi-quantity items. So if you have 4 of something, that's what the higher number is.
And I noticed that when an item sells out, it stays in that number, that 1361. Like that number just keeps going up. Even the ones that I sell is in there, which is great because I can go in there and I can sell similar off of it. But it's confusing when I try to figure my sell through rate. But anyway, okay. There's no way I can change that in the settings, you think?
No, you don't want to change it either. You want to know both your unique list. The unique listings is the smaller number.
Okay.
And the bigger number includes all items in inventory.
Okay. Okay.
Michelle is saying, is eBay no longer holding funds for returns in progress? I don't know the answer to that, but I have noticed that when I had PayPal, they did not hold my funds during returns. It was called the some kind of protection program. I think eBay may have that once you reach a certain threshold. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't hold your funds during a hold. Brian is asking, does everyone schedule for 7 listings 7 days a week or take weekends off? So what I've been doing is scheduling a few listings every day. So Monday through Friday, I'll schedule the week. So starting on Monday, I'll start scheduling for Saturday, and then I'll look at the schedule, and I will report back. I think I have better success launching all 32 at the same time instead of spreading out the 32 throughout the day. Personally, I feel like what is it called when they use a defibrillator on people? I feel like I'm doing that to eBay. When I launch all 32 listings at the same second, I'm jump starting it versus I was doing like one every half an hour or one every 45 minutes. That didn't seem to work as well. So
is there a way to bulk list those? Like if you're gonna list 20, you can just bulk list them instead of going into each one of them?
Definitely. Yeah, you can bulk launch 200 at a time.
Okay. Cool. Do you have to go through each one as you launch it?
No.
Okay.
No. Once you build the drafts, you can launch them all at the same time. Let's see. So Eric is asking about travel rewards credit cards. So I just posted that in the on my YouTube channel. This year I have 631,000 points or something from just the shipping. So it's like ridiculous. If you guys set up your shipping costs, actually it's not only from shipping, but you can get free travel. That's I think it's really important, at least to get your PayPal account, make your PayPal account have $0 in it, set the default method to your credit card. This is actually kind of complicated because you have to Google how PayPal does its settings. And then you have to go in and look at the agreement that PayPal has with eBay and make sure that agreement says your credit card and not your bank account. And you can't have any money in your bank in your PayPal account because it will pull from that before it pulls from your checking account. So it's a little bit complicated. It'll take you an hour to figure out, but then you can get credit card points. I use the Capital One Spark 2%. I'm sorry, it's called, they changed it. They discontinued it. It's now called the Spark Plus. I'll give you guys it's awesome. It's the best credit card I've ever used. It's 2% back on every single item. And there's no limit. And there's also no, let me see. There's no limit, which is kind of crazy. And then there's no, I'll post it in the Facebook group shortly. There's no credit card limit. The only downside is you have to pay it off in full every month. That's the only downside. But 2% back on everything. And there's no credit card limit. So you can build it up to whatever amount of charge. And I asked them what the maximum I could charge is, and they said you could request up to $1 million on the charge. We probably wouldn't approve you, but you could. You have to have a history of spending a lot of money, and then they'll hook you up. But 2% cash back is amazing. So, and with no credit card limit, Capital One, the annual fee is $195, and they give you $200 bonus if you spend a certain amount, which covers the 195. So all eBayers should be able to hit that limit if you do 20 sales a day. Probably can cover that through shipping. And I wish that the eBay fees came out of that, but they don't anymore. They take the eBay fees before you get your money now. And the credit card is in my business name and my name, so both. Also, the Capital One Spark Plus card has no fees for additional cards. So if you have somebody out buying for you, you could give them your card and set a limit on it, like $1,000. And they can go out and buy as much as they can with that card. And there's no additional cost for that. There's no international fees if you travel. Joe is asking how you launch listings at the same time. I will show you. Okay. So new store. I have 371 drafts, right? So this is how I do it. I'll show you guys. They're pretty much all done, but let me just open up. I'll list 5 for you guys manually. So if I go through here, I'm checking that everything is correct, which it is already. I'm going to double check on the price. I'm going to lower this slightly. Scroll down, list. So this is the manual way. So making sure that everything is to my liking. I think this might be considered a short skirt. I don't know if that's mid length or knee length. I'm going to lower this price a little bit too, because these halter straps sell for less money for me traditionally. So I'm just going to lower it a little bit. This is what I'm doing when I launch them one by one. I recommend doing it this way and not bulk launching them, just so you can double check and make sure that the items are priced accordingly. Let's see. That's fine. Extra small. I'm going to add a pattern to this of solid. Okay. So these, I'm going to price a little bit higher because of the price. So $35.99. And I'm an expert in all these categories, so I don't have to research anything. So if you want to, let me do this. Okay, so that was me launching 5 of them live. If you want to do, let's go ahead and do bulk now. So let's say I want to launch these 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can click on resume drafts. There's a couple ways to do this. Okay, you can, and this is the way that I prefer to do it. I prefer to click this all and then click item specifics. And I prefer to do it one at a time this way. So I'm going to go through here. The only problem is you can't see the pictures. So I don't recommend doing this unless you, I don't recommend doing it this way anymore, because they have this new one, which is this. Now they have this new format in the bulk listing tool where you can see the pictures, or at least a small thumbnail of them. So what I would do is I would open up this bulk list here, scroll down. Okay, this is right. This brand does well for me, but I'm not going to raise the price. Oh, actually, let me see. I would select them all and do this. Edit in bulk one at a time. So come through here, save and next, skirt, save and next. See, but all of these listings are already done. I'm just double checking, maybe adjusting the pricing. And that's why this store is growing so fast, because there's no mistakes. Wild Fable. So, and I also make sure when it's 16 that it's not kids 16. I just double check real quick. I'm going to price this maybe $1 higher because I like size 16. Sells well for me. Okay. Save a minimum. Okay, so now all 5 of these listings are done. I'm going to come down here and click submit all. You can do this for up to 200 listings at a time. So that's me launching 10 drafts, 5 of them one by one, and then 5 of them using the bulk editor. Hopefully that was useful for people to look at. Let's see here. I use Chrome, but I don't like Chrome that much, so I might experiment with a different browser. Michelle says it's not a downside paying it off in full. Well, I guess if you don't pay it off in full, they will cancel your card. So you have to pay it off in full. There's no other option for this card. You can't set a credit card for a preferred method for eBay fees, but you can set one for the fees eBay may charge you. So I don't know how to do that, but I think that there's some extraneous fees that they could bill a credit card instead of your available balance. Let's see. Does anyone have a vertical screen? Some people use a vertical screen for eBay. So Tim is asking if I'm not scheduling listings anymore. I am scheduling listings, but I draft first. Draft everything first, and then I go in and I bulk schedule them. That's how I do it. Because I don't want to go in and here, I'll show you how to what I do, Tim. So let's go here. All right. So let's do this. So let's do these. Let's launch these 5 on Saturday. So resume drafts. I'm going to just double check real quick and make sure these are right. So edit in bulk one at a time. All right, save and next. I'm going to lower this a little bit. Save and next. Yeah. Also, I was marking all of my Joe's jeans incorrectly. I like the brand Joe's jeans better than just Joe's. I think that's the correct brand for this brand. And I'm pricing all of my items to sell within 60 days. So that's why my pricing is lower. I can wait longer, but I don't really want to wait longer. So I'm pricing for this stuff to move. Pull and bear. Pull and bear sometimes gives me problems with Vero if it's new. So I try to avoid new pull and bear. Okay, so those 5 are done. Now I click here on scheduled listings, start time. I'm going to launch these on Saturday. So let's go Saturday. I'll launch them at 6 in the morning. I don't space them out anymore. I used to do that, but I don't think it works as well as the shock in the system at 6 in the morning. So save and close. And then submit. So it's going to charge me 50 cents, 10 cents per scheduled listing. But then now I don't need to log in on Saturday. The listings are ready to go. So there we go. Go back to the chat. Oh, and Tim gave me some good advice on the turntable. You can use any size turntable on top of any type of Lazy Susan, especially if it's heavier. The Lazy Susan that I'm using is made out of wood, so it's pretty heavy, and it's pretty awesome. I need to adjust the lighting a little bit because here I'll send this out real quick. Let's see. Let me send. Let me just send the photos to my computer real quick. I wonder if Tim has a light either behind him or above him, because I'm going to show you guys this real quick. I don't know if maybe it's hard to see, but these are the pictures, right, that I took. The front of the shoe is kind of dark in my opinion because it's outside of the box, but maybe it doesn't matter. See how it's like kind of dim on this side because this is sticking outside of the box. So I feel like I'm kind of not doing the shoe justice because I wish there was more lighting on the back of the shoe, but maybe it doesn't matter. What do you guys think? Good enough? I think it looks pretty decent. You can see what the shoes look like. I like the contrast so people can see it against 2 different color backgrounds. But I wonder if Tim has the light in the front. So this is sticking out of the box. He has 2 lights behind him. Okay. Dana says that you need a white card. Yeah, that would make it more accurate. Jared says looks natural. Let's see. Oh, Justin, I don't enter in the dimensions at all. I just leave it blank on every single item. No dimensions. Tim has 2 lights beside him and 1 directly above. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is, since the shoes stick out of the photo box, I'm just going to add 1 light from above, and that should cover the front of the shoe, and then it should be relatively accurate. I use unroll.me to, Aaron is asking about email programs that declutter your email. I use unroll.me. They kind of have a questionable security feature. I think they sell your information. But they do unsubscribe you from all of the different things that you're subscribed to. So it's really nice. I'm trying to get the inbox 0. I have, let me see. I have 55 emails in my inbox. That's pretty good. Pretty good for me. Boog says spacing is good for auctions. That's a great distinction. Maybe that is the reason why eBay has that for auctions. That's really smart. Thank you for bringing that up. That means, like, if you have 100 rare GI Joes ending, you don't want them to end all at the same time, because then your top buyers wouldn't be able to capitalize on it. Aaron has 90,000 emails. Whew, that's brutal. That's brutal. Let's see. Okay, so before we go today, I want everyone to do the 10 listing challenge. And I'm not set up for this yet because I don't have a camera at work, but I would like to set it up so every day I can go in and do my listings, because now that my shipping is so fast, I have a bunch of extra time. So I might as well list more. I don't have anything else to do instead of listing. So I'd like to turn on the camera, list, and that also is making me wonder about, I guess maybe I could ask you guys. Pull this up. Get this set up. Okay, so this is my storage unit setup. They're 10 by 40s. So I'm actually considering here, because I have 3 units right next to each other for 1,200 square feet. So I'm thinking about doing this setup. So here I have 1 photo station. Hold on, sorry. 1 photo station, 2 photo stations. The front of the warehouse doesn't have anything in it. So 2 stations here, and this would hold 32,000 items or something with my current setup. 1,200 square feet, 32,000 items. And yeah, that's what I'm thinking it's going to look like. This one is all storage, and these 2 units have a separate photo box, and then the people wouldn't be working next to each other. Or I could do this and have the 2 people work right next to each other. That would be the only difference. I don't know. I do like the competition atmosphere, but then also I think being in competition with yourself might be good enough. Raymond in 1 month has increased his sales 5 per day from watching my YouTube channel. That's 1,500 sales a year. That's a lot. So, I mean, that's like you owe me a Happy Meal. That's a lot of money. Bill, you want to, what do you want a master's category for? I'd say probably 10% of my channel is over the age of 60. So Bill was saying, go ahead, Bill.
For the challenge.
Oh, for the challenge.
Every category in the world has different, every competition has different categories for
that's
different
fair.
ages.
That's fair. I'm if middle age is based off of the average life expectancy of 73, then I'm right at the halfway mark. But I'm sure there are some young 20-year-olds that could kick my ass in pretty much every single category. So maybe we'll have different age categories for the listing challenge.
And then the conversation just got depressing.
Right. No, but there's that saying that you have two lives and your second one begins when you know the first one's going to end. I think you just get an idea of like everything's important. Like the saying that really got my butt into gear was the subtract your age from 73. That's how many summers you have left. So for me, 37 summers left. That's it. Not much. Not much. Gotta make the best of every a lot. Let's see here. I don't know if it's depressing, but I have seen people like they have a timer on their desk, like that counts down to 73 years old, just so they can visually see this is literally how much time I'm supposed to have left. Because the YOLO mentality is kind of dangerous too, because you're probably gonna live longer than a day. Let's see here. All right, everyone. I want everyone to do the challenge this week and report back. How long is 10 listings going to take you after the item is prepped? So ready to go, photograph it, list it, put it away. I want to know how long 10 takes. An hour would be excellent, in my opinion. Oh, wow. So Kathy says when you start counting by days instead of years, yeah, that's crazy. Everyone will get to that point. See, L Stu is in the chat, only 18 years old. That's crazy. I know Julia in the group, she is 16 and she has a 10 listing a day habit, and she uses her parents' account because you're not allowed to list on eBay that young. So she does 10 a listing after her homework. So that's a really good habit. Philip said a lady at the binge yesterday said that she was going to die any moment. That's too much. It's too much. So Christine's going to set the challenge right now. I love it. And Tobin says that it's increased to 78.8. So I wish everybody a long, happy, fruitful life.